Hello, my good students. Welcome back to our War on the Sea Pacific campaign as the Imperial Japanese Navy. We are joining here the recently victorious supply interceptors, fending off a massive invasion force for Okinawa, right on the doorstep of Okinawa as well. If we hadn't caught them, we would have had troops on there right now. An invasion that we wouldn't have been able to defend at all, with no troops and such in the area to help out with that. So massive victory. These guys now going home for medals and to have their ships repaired, of course. They're not so overly damaged, but we do need to have that. It will let them restock as well without expending fuel and such. So that's absolutely brilliant. We do of course know that there are still some lurking ships in the open ocean between Okinawa and Guam and such, so we keep our submarines and such out scouting for that for the minute, but otherwise I'm not overly sure what we want to do today. Should we make our minds up on the strategic map? I think that'd be a great idea. So yeah, we are going over to Kure to refuel and rearm and such over there. We're going to send our engineering task force straight out over to truck. We do have some engineering, we do have some supplies over here as well, and of course some fuel. We'll be able to just dump the engineering and fuel off onto truck over here. But we are going to send the supplies, only just under a couple thousand supplies here. We're going to send that to Peleliu so that we have something to pick up as reinforcing supplies for our upcoming invasion of Del Monte over here. Not entirely sure when that will be is the thing. Do want to get where our invasion support group restocked over here, which is why we're sending so many resources over the truck so that we can reimburse it after that. Of course, loading in the game, we have sighted a supply convoy over here. I want to deal with that, of course. We can do that on the way perhaps with our zeros and such. Otherwise, we're going to pick up some supplies and such from Hong Kong. Not going to strip that bare, of course, but we're going to take a couple thousand troops and supplies from that, and that will help out with Del Monte, of course. These particular invasion supplies are armed with troops and such. That'd be decent as well. We're just sending these over, of course. So I think really we can probably land on there today if possible. We just need to get our invasion support group resupplied, and that can come back over and maybe even bombard Cebu over here. Or Cebu, not entirely sure how you pronounce that entirely, but that's the plan for today then, I think, unless something else gets in our way. Let's get going. Okay, so just outside of Manila, our submarines have sighted yet another task force. So you can see that we've identified our two targets, a Brooklyn and a County. The ship leading them is, of course, a North Carolina. I don't remember how many of those we have left to remove. I don't believe it's... Okay, we haven't actually sunk any yet. Did just send it back to port, and I believe we did hit one previously. Memory fails me there. But we're going to go for the cruisers today. Fiddling around with the binoculars there a bit too much. So we can see the Brooklyn over here fairly easily. Quite a nice solution on that already, of course. We're just going to wait to see what the ideal time is to fire on the County. It is hiding behind a leading destroyer, unfortunately. Just over here. What is our angle on that? 23 degrees. I might launch 4 torpedoes 2 degrees spread as we did previously with an Atlanta, and I think fire those out now, because otherwise we're going to lose our chance for the Brooklyn, which would have passed over us. So we'll get these torpedoes out and once again dive down. Looks like they are indeed out, and that is brilliant. Scope down there, and we'll dive down to 80 meters, I think, and increase our speed to about 4 knots here, and turn out as much as possible. We'll of course wait for those torpedoes to travel out, because there's just that much more distance between us and the county than there is between us and the Brooklyn there. So we'll compress time a tad, wait for those to go, I think, closer to the destroyer really, but there is a small chance that we will hit the destroyer before the county there, depending on the lead we've had to take. It's looking like that might be the case so far. Let's see. How's that looking? How can we see the torpedoes? We'll be quite a way off there. Here they are. That's not looking too bad. But either way, I think I've left it too late now if it is going to hit the destroyer anyway. And that it's looking like it might do the job there. So we're just going to leave that, I think, for now. Because we're going to miss the Brooklyn if we fire too late there. In fact, that's not looking too bad. I think we're going to fire on the Brooklyn nonetheless now. 4 torpedoes of 2 degrees spread. Actually, did get that. That's not a problem. That will probably down the destroyer there. See what the Brooklyn's doing to evade. It's looking like it will. Yeah, that's doing a massively hard turn there. So we're just going to escape, I think. Scope down, come down to 60 meters there, and turn to their flank. Not to worry, a destroyer is still some ship down. Very nice prize there. What exactly was that? A Benson or a Gleaves? That's instantly down. That's amazing work. You know what, the Brooklyn's not turning too hard, but it would have been enough to get away from torpedoes. Doesn't look like they're too interested in hunting us either. Probably scared off by the fact that we did in fact go for a destroyer. Not too sure about these torpedoes here. Looks like they will miss the county. Looking quite nice on the map, but if we go in close, they're definitely going to miss there. And that's a big shame. Really big shame. No, not even going to get one on the rear there, are we? Just wishful thinking. And there it goes. Wave bye-bye to it as it goes past. Could have probably gone for this particular destroyer if we fancied it. It's not really manoeuvring too hard anywhere, but I think we're just going to leave that and try and re-engage in the future. So that was just out here. It wasn't Manila at all, but it was very, very close to our target. So we're going to push it a bit further forwards and keep a bit of a patrol going over here, like so. Keep that going. That's very, very nice indeed. Let us carry on. Okay, so a couple of things have just happened. You can see one of the most obvious things that we do have an encounter with a Mavis to look at. That's scouted out what appears to be a battleship task force. We should hopefully be in range to release and repair these particular ships. We are indeed. How long are they going to take in the dockyard? No more than a week. That is excellent work. Really, really good. That will be our Type A out as well that we did send previously. That came over yesterday, of course. Might want to see if we can afford a second supply interceptor group to replace that for the minute, so then we can bring that out again later on. Don't worry, I've not actually been looking at Kearsages there. We've not seen one of those just yet. That would be rather. We're going to get a... Kuma's not particularly bad. Sendai is just amazing though. I do like the Sendai actually. Then again, it is just for supplies. So we'll get a Nagara out. We'll get... I do quite like the idea of having 2. We'll get Akuma and Nagara. It's going to be quite a lot of points, so this is the problem. We're going to get a... Do we have Wakatakis available? We do have a couple. We'll get one of those. Gets a Minakaze. And we'll try and get another Kamikaze out. We do have a lot of those available. Do that. We've got room for nothing, unless we want to get another Wakataki out. Do we want to do that? I think we will be fine for now, to be honest. We only have 5 ships in the previous task force, and that's done absolutely fine. So we'll do that. Excellent. Bring this out. That can go all the way back to Okinawa and scout out around here, of course. We'll see what this Mavis has got. Let's go to that. So 7 possible ships with 1 possible standard class battleship. Let's have a look. We have... Where are we? It's a very clear day, actually. Right in front of us. What do we have? Is it a King George? Not quite. It's a Queen Elizabeth by the looks of it. Yes, it is indeed. Excellent. Big, beefy battleship there. Do we have New Orleans? Cool. And we have an Atlanta. Okay. Is this something we've hit previously? Doesn't appear to be, but we don't need to stick around there. That's just sighting it. What we can do is mark that off once again. And we can try and have a look at that later on, perhaps. Don't have anything too close to deal with that. The planes at Peleliu aren't the most numerous, so they could send Betty's and Judy's on one of those targets. It's not the most inviting thought, though, that Atlanta about, because we need to focus that first. I'm not entirely sure we'll be able to get that, unfortunately. So we'll carry on. We'll keep that in mind. And hopefully it won't come up too close in the future. Okay, so a few days have passed, now day 95, and we've spotted yet again another battleship task force. I imagine this might be the Queen Elizabeth task force moved over from this last known position. But we do have our Taiyo over here now, of course. So we're going to try and launch some Kates over towards that. The question is, do we want to send them with torpedoes or bombs? Can of course launch some bombers from truck. I think would probably be a good idea to go as well. They're going to go with some level bombs first. They're going to try and slow down perhaps the target there. Like so. Send out some Bessies, and once the cooldown has gone through, we'll send out some Judys as well. When is that going to tick over? We didn't get the notification. It's just 0.1 hours. That's absolutely fine. We'll send the Bettys to scout out, so then keep contact with that. We are ready once again there. Not going to move our support group just yet. We're going to get out some Judys as well. They're going to go with some AP bombs as well. Might try and get out some Mavises as well. Not the greatest plane, of course, but they will help. Numbers will certainly help. We'll get those out though with some torpedoes, I think. Sort of courting death there, but it'll give the enemy something else to think about. And with that being said, we will launch some torpedo armed Kates then over here with them. So go over with that. And is this the same one? It is indeed. We can ignore that for now. I think we will reposition these to the rear if possible, and we'll do the same with the Judys, like so. We'll bring those in a tag closer now I've said that. And we'll reposition our Kates so that they are on this particular side of their formation. The Mavises can just move in as they are, I think. And that will do. Let's go in. Wish us luck. Alrighty, let's see what we have here. Where are we positioned? The Judys should be the closest to them. There we go. We can see them in the background there, in the horizon. Exactly what we thought it would be. It is, of course, the Queen Elizabeth task force. So, what are we going to go for today? I'd love to get rid of the Atlanta, but it's, of course, as much as a hard counter as you can get to aircraft. Everyone knows that. That's its function. So, what do we want to do here? Because I'm suddenly regressing choosing torpedo armaments for our Kates simply because of the huge amount of flak we're going to have to go through. I think what we're going to do is try and slow down the Queen Elizabeth with our Bettys and Judys, and we're going to try and strike that with our Kates as well. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. We'll let all of the bombers come in first. We'll increase their speed and I think actually altitude while they approach there. So that they don't have quite the high likelihood of getting hits there. We'll target the Queen Elizabeth as well. We'll also keep the Judys about. We'll try and come in roughly at the same time for that. So what we'll do is, actually what would make that a bit easier is if we could follow them, but I've increased the altitude far above what the Judys should be doing really, so that's okay. We'll bring them out, but we'll slow down their speed to give them a slightly wider angle there. Hopefully they'll come in similar sort of time to the Bessies, and that should not be a problem at all, like so. We can always increase their speed and movement vectors and such as time goes on. What do we do with the Mavises is the real question. Massive targets are these, so we'll see about that. Maybe just try and go for the Queen Elizabeth as well there. What I'm going to do is form up all of our Kates in one big group to begin with there. Going to increase their spacing as well and let them dive down a tad. What we can do is bring them from the rear at the moment, so we're not attracting quite so much flak to begin with, but we'll reduce their speed as well, and hopefully they'll come in at a similar sort of time to our bombers. I've got them on line ahead. I really want them on a box or something really. That might work a bit better. There we go. Much better. And the spacing of course is there to help with flak. Don't think we really need to labour that point too much. We're going to bring the Judys in that much quicker now because the Bessies are approaching fast. What is the speed of the Bessies? 230. Might want to try and go a little bit quicker than that just to catch up with the Bessies there with our Judys, of course, and we'll make their approach that much more direct, I think, like so. Increase the speed over here as well, thank you. I'll do. Excellent. Now roughly at the same speed. They should be able to catch up with the Bessies fairly easily as well. Wondering how to split up the AA fire here really. Do apologise, I'm looking more at the mini-map to be honest, rather than what's going on in the actual battle here. The visibility is, as a side, is 63%. And of course there's a bloody thermal layer to hide under. We have no submarines at all. Oh dear. We might want to keep the Mavises a tad away at the moment. I can't. This is how bad the visibility is. You can't see the buggers right over there. Tell you what, I'll bring the Kates in now as well. We'll increase their speed a bit. Targets the Queen Elizabeth there. Very tempted now actually to go for a heavy cruiser with these Kates just to reduce future AA fire. Might try with the Mavises first there. They can dive down a bit further. And tell you what, now that we're on a decent line, we're going to break an attack with our Bessies here. I can do that individually so that we do get better targets there. Like so. There we go. Excellent stuff. Right, didn't hit that one. It's a bit fiddly, isn't it, really? Just a tad on the fiddly side. Just a tad. That'll do. So with the Judys, want to make them attack as well. I think we'll be able to guess away with a formation attack with these guys, like so. We can increase their speeds as well. Wondering who the enemy's going to focus their fire on, really. Can we find out who they're going for just yet? So I might send the Mavises at the New Orleans there, and they can go straight in there actually. Can reduce their altitude as well. What do we want to do with these guys though? That's the question. Gonna have to make our minds up soon because they're about to drop with these Bessies. The enemy's fiddling around with their formation. What I'm going to do actually is tighten up here with our formation, and we might actually go for the New Orleans, I think. But we're now dropping with the Bessies, of course. Should be seeing hits or near hits soon, of course. But I do, of course, want to try and get through with this group here. Might subdivide these in just a second, actually. Let's bring them to the rear a bit better there, and we can tell the Mavises to attack. I do apologise for this stopping and starting all the time there. It needs to be done. Got one hit onto the... Oh, I got a dud hit. That's a tad on the disappointing side there. And our Judies are a tad mismatched there. Probably wanted to increase their speed a bit earlier. That's okay. And yeah, I think we are going to go for the New Orleans here. We're going to try and split these roughly in half, I think. There we go. And we will bring one from the front and one from the back as it stands there. How are our Judies faring? Not great. Lost 1 and 2 and 3 with no couple hits there. It's not really going to slow it down. How's our Mavis doing? Pretty much as expected, really. I'd love to see an early drop, to be honest, guys. There we go. That'll do. Yeah, they're left for dead, if I'm honest. We will decrease the altitude to attacking altitude here, and same over here. How's that looking? We've got 4 torpedoes off. That's not necessarily bad at all, actually. 3 hits would be ideal. Come on. Just the 2, unfortunately, there. So we can finish that off with some Kates. I think we're just going to focus that with all of our Kates now, to be honest, just to make sure that goes down. So we will increase our speed and come out just a tad, because that angle is now not ideal. And we'll come from this angle, I think, with our Kates. I'm expecting a port side turn there, really. That Queen Elizabeth could take a few torpedoes. Let's take a quick report. Getting very tempted. It's on heavy and heavy. That's extremely tempting. Extremely tempting. But we're going to lose the Kates on the approach, aren't we? We'll leave that as it is, I think, and just reduce our speed here and come in for the attack as it stands there on the New Orleans. We'll have a look over here as well. Very, very tempting still to go for that Queen Elizabeth. I think I'm gonna. I've bottled it, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Let's increase our speeds once again. Lost a case on the approach there, but we have dropped. Yeah, this is a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. What's life without risks? Not guaranteed we're going to hit that New Orleans either. It doesn't look like we have, actually. So I'm regretting this. There's 4 torpedoes. Even if these do all hit, it's not going to do the job here. But it's rather stationary. It's sitting at 6 knots there. That's quite unfortunate there on the New Orleans, actually. Really unfortunate. We have dropped here, so I'm going to tell them to just get the hell out and turn to the flanks there. That's not really going to help them too much. But sitting on top of the truck there, I think we can recoup those losses fairly easily. I'm willing to make the sacrifice to our resources there, since we do have some coming in. That's struck by 3 torpedoes. That's actually not bad at all. I'll happily take that. Let's take a report on that. Critical to critical. If we can take down the battleship through attritional floods, I'll happily take that. I'll be very happy with that result, actually. After we squandered the attack on the New Orleans there. But we'll just have to see. We'll wait about, see what happens. Oh, don't need to wait. Excellent, it is down. So heavy losses once again. Reckless, absolutely reckless. Should have been far more decisive. And we should have lined up really that attack on the New Orleans a bit better, I think, or much better. Should have probably done that a little more manually. Turn them in a little bit more before we actually decided to press the attack button there. I think would have sorted that out. But you know what, you live and you learn, make mistakes. It's just a cost of resources, and you know what, that's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. We can live with that. So because that's done, what was the number 2 ship? Usually if you sink the number 1 and 2, the fleet retreats. But I doubt that's going to be the case if the number 2 is a destroyer there. But still, that's much easier to hit. New Orleans won't take too much more to go down. And we can think about that in the future. Let's go. So with that all being done, we're going to, of course, retreat with our aircraft there. So it's going to take time to recycle them, get them refueled and such, and get our air deck going there. I believe that was all of our possible Kates there. It was indeed. So we're going to do a quick bit of maths. We should definitely be able to reimburse ourselves there from the supplies on truck. I'm just going to double check where our supplies are for that actually. Have the invasion supplies. Here we go. Yeah, they're all the way at Iwo Jima. So that's going to take some time to get over there, but I'm sure we won't need to resupply in between, shall we? Nah, it'll be absolutely fine. We'll be all good. So we're going to instantly rearm because this is something I really like to abuse in the base game. It's just sitting outside of the Shortland Islands as the IJN, upgrading that to a level 3 port and just recycling your aircraft after the heaviest of losses. It's a disgusting tactic. But that actually, because we only needed to rearm 10 planes, did not take much fuel and engineering at all there. So certainly worthwhile, I think, especially getting rid of that Queen Elizabeth. So what we're going to do is we're going to send out a Pete from the Fuso. We might be able to have a J-catch would be a bit better since it does have that extra range for the Mikuma over here. And we're going to see where that goes. It is just outside radar range, so we should be able to pick that up anyway. But I do want to get some more solid sight on there. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see if we fancy hitting that again. But I'm thinking of calling an end there, really. Been going for quite some time, haven't we? We do have somehow this has been spotted. Not entirely sure how that's the case, but not to worry. If we don't have anything really there to strike that, do let's try again with our cargo. We'll go with some zeros once again. We'll go with 10 zeros and go for some bombs there. Like so. Try and hit that once again, shall we? Let's go. Okay, so we've sighted the little bugger, but the visibility is so poor at 25%, we're right on top of it. What do we actually have over here? It is once again a, I don't know, narwhal geisha, who knows, tambor. Could be anything, to be honest. They all look the bloody same to me, these American submarines. So we're going to have to turn around. Might want to, yeah, we'll just keep our speed high so we can get out and turn back around again. That's a wide angle there, and try and hit our bombs as much as possible, of course. Reduce our speed now so we get a better turn around there. We need to reduce our speed quite a bit actually, and we'll brake with everyone, just attack there I think if possible. Hopefully we get this bloody thing. We've got enough planes for it. I don't know if I'm liking the lines on this actually. Should be alright to be dropping now. How are we doing, guys? Come on. Just need... it was very, very close, but it did submerge as well just as they landed. Unlucky. Unlucky, really. Yeah, no damage. Nothing else we can do there. Just come out, really. That's really, really unlucky. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's not hit anything just yet. We've been extremely lucky, actually. You know what I've been thinking recently? Been extremely lucky not to have any submarine contacts whatsoever since the first episode. And you know what is even more surprising and somewhat alarming, actually? Is that we've not seen any American fleet carriers since we sunk the Lexington. And that was on the first episode as well. Been very lucky not to see them, I think, but get the feeling they're going to come out in force one day, like we had with Okinawa, just coming in our back line. So might actually just keep these submarines out here with their Glens and such scouting out to see if we can spot those. Of course, there's such a massive, wide open space of ocean there that submarines are somewhat unlikely to pick up anything. But if they do, it's going to be good. What have we got over here? Do we need to wait for some fuel? What was I going to send that towards? Probably Saipan, really, so we can finally upgrade that. The thing is, if we upgrade that on the fuel that we've got at Kure, we've got some fuel at Sasebo actually. Might take some from there. I think we'll take some from there. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go. How much supplies we got? We'll take the supplies from Kure, and we'll go over to Sasebo and pick up some fuel there. My worry is that if we took the fuel from Kure, we'd have enough to upgrade the airfield at Saipan, but that would leave us with just nothing really to help our planes replenish when we do eventually lose them. Haven't sighted this just yet, has only been a couple minutes, so we'll keep an eye out and see what happens. Okay, so looks like that is pushing forward still, so we are going to want to hit that group again. Not entirely sure what with, to be honest. It's not the biggest threat, and I don't think this group... I mean, it could certainly hurt it. We've got 2 battleships here. You know, it's very tempting. You know what? I don't see why we shouldn't go for that, actually. They're not likely going to hit the carrier. That's the only real worry there with the damage on there. But the carrier will also be an advantage with of course, the Kate. So what we'll do is we'll push this out over here. We'll come towards Pele Liu, and we will try and soft counter them there by hopefully intercepting them. But the thing is, we have all of this coast guard here at Guam, that's not really going to be a problem now we have rid of the battleship there. So we can either catch it with our invasion support, or we can catch it with our Kagan Shokaku, or our, of course, fighting force one with, with the Nagato over here. Quite a sizable force, that is indeed. So how are we sitting with our supplies? We are pretty much ready with Invasion 2. Invasion 1 can go as well. I think we're just waiting for... Where were the other supplies there? We're waiting for the reinforcements from Hong Kong. That's what's happening there, so we can all land at once on to Del Monte. Also waiting for, of course, our invasion support to come round. Although we do have Akagi, I would like to perhaps bombard Cebu as well, and then eventually get onto Manila. As much as I would love a massive forward base from Manila, you just know that's going to be extremely well guarded. That's going to be very, very heavily guarded. Just a complete island fortress there. So we are going to have to bombard that. So I think it's inevitable to bombard that. Do we have any level 3 ports otherwise out here? Doesn't appear so, does it? So unfortunately that is really our only option, which is unlucky. Certainly unlucky there. But that's going to have to be the case, really. Oh well. Yeah, okay, so I think we'll push on forwards, and if anything else happens we shall let you know. Well, shit. Just can't catch a bloody break, can we? Gonna have to watch out for this. It says 10 ships, CVL, CA. I bet this is a fleet carrier. I've just jinxed it, haven't I? Gonna have to send some suicidal bombing Bessies, I think, really, to offensively scout us out, really. Which direction are they going? Are they going towards Halseong over here? They certainly are by the looks of things there. That's rather unlucky. What can we do with this? What can we do with this? Where the bloody hell are they? Visibility's not great at 45%, that helps us out, but you can imagine that they have definitely launched fighters if they do have a carrier, and in fact they do. They have a Bogue, so that's going to be the I don't know really. Do we want that to be the option here? They're so close to invading. I think it certainly would be better to get a supply ship. So what we've got: hospital ship, county, New Orleans, Macaulay, Clemson, another Macaulay. Well, it might be a Harris or C2 there. So it's not the biggest invasion, but it's going to be able to bombard us with the 2 heavy cruisers there. I think really go for the hospital ship, since that's the closest one. Just bloody hope we get like 2 hits on there to deal with that, really. That's all it comes down to at the moment, bloody hoping. We will not be too averse to kamikaze strikes, since they are so close to us. We have our supply interceptors here, but I don't think they're going to be able to stand up to a New Orleans and a county, to be honest. It was one thing to engage supply ships and destroyer escorts at night, but to stand up to 2 heavy cruisers, that's guessing the carrier here, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, it's another thing to stand up to 2 heavy cruisers and a carrier and such. We can see some fighters about. It's not going to be fun here at all. This is why I say it's a suicide run if they do have a carrier, and in fact it is instantly shot down. But we've scouted that out, so we know what's there now. Really, our hope is these submarines here, and yeah, we're just going to have to park those on top of Kaohsiung over here, along with our supply interceptors. That's our bulwark there. Not much of a bulwark, but it will have to do. Maybe losing Kaohsiung fairly soon. Don't have the most people over there, not the most supplies either. Going to be a tad difficult, but unfortunately we're going to leave it on that bombshell, guys, for today. Going to drag on a hell of a long time, otherwise we can get caught up too much in these things. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's suddenly a bit of a nail biter, so the next video is going to be fairly interesting, I think. So I shall see you then. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Great to have you all here. Very much enjoy presenting for you as ever, but I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious. I'm going to have to say goodbye.